Hey Sagittarius, welcome back to Path of Enlightenment Tarot. For those of you returning to the channel, welcome back. For those of you who are new, welcome. I'm Nicole. Sag, timeless reading here. Sun, Moon, Rising, and your Venus cross watcher. If that's you, welcome to the channel as well. Guys, I'm making some changes to the channel, like not only the channel, but to the way I'm putting these readings out. Like I'm trying to find a new niche. Like, you know, you get into that vibe, you get to that feeling that things just don't feel super balanced. I don't know if balance is the right word, but I just kind of feel like we're in a place where I'm going to make some adjustments as we sit here and talk now. I don't know, something's going to feel different for me. So, but I was like, I wanted to get you fire signs out. I know I didn't get your weekly out, so I want to kind of make it up to you. I've got some changes to my schedule on the horizon here very, very soon. So I don't know. I'm just going to roll with it. I'm like, let's do this. Let's try that. And I'm just like, let's just roll, right? Like, let's just be in the divine flow of that 8 of this year and just let it flow. So hopefully January is going well, but we're going to just kind of check in here, see what's going on with the energies for you. I think we're going to do, let's go with one of these guys. All right, Sag. Let's see what's the latest in your energy, what you all have going on. Not gonna lie, Sag, I feel like you're resisting some kind of change here. Spirit is saying, it's almost like a pin drop. And when I say a pin drop, like, you know, you drop your pin on your phone to show your location, where you're at, what you're doing. There's something about that. It kind of gives me this idea of, do you know where you're going? Do you know where you're going to land? Do you know what's going on in your energy? Are you aware of what the next steps are? What this new journey takes you on? And I don't even want to say like super duper like new journey, Sag, but this is kind of like, Spirit is like screaming at me, resistance to change. Spirit is also saying there's some gameplay, and I think that sits around some inner wounds, Sag, inner wounds. I feel like you're trying to maintain a top of a position of something, illusion. You could be dealing with a water sign. Does not have to be. I see that come up a lot for you guys, and I've seen the King of Wands pop out in a lot of the water, or the water readings. There we go. Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. Jeez Louise. I feel like something here, Sag, is being reflected back to you when it comes to potentially a water sign. And I feel like if you have sat back in any sort of energy that says, you know, like maybe from the start of a situation or from a particular point, that pin drop of a situation, that this is, I know this is how it's going to turn out. I know this is the way it's going to be. You could see it as predicting your future. But I'm going to ask you on a spiritual level, what frequency were you vibrating in when you made up your mind that that's the way it was going to be, that was the direction, that's where this was going to land? Okay. I will tell you, I did Aries and Leo's reading earlier, and I didn't feel quite settled enough in the readings. This here is coming in intensely for me, for you guys, the way this is addressing itself. Sag, I also kind of feel like there's a bit of fight and flight going on within you. You hear the sirens? Do you hear that? Mastery and patience. Sag, you're not going to be able that's going. It's awfully close. So this mastery, self-mastery, the need to master the self, I kind of feel like you're taking a gamble, It's kind of like, I feel like you guys are playing Russian roulette with yourself. Some of you at some point, it's kind of giving me the heebie-jeebies here, could have an out-of-body experience. And it's weird that I'm seeing it like that. But the way I'm seeing this augur and this geomancy and aura is like, this is outside of the self. Okay? This is a really strange reading. Got like the, I don't know, weird vibes. But this augur, he's mastering himself. He's trying to master his thoughts, his emotions, his knowing. He's like trying to master all of it. And then with this geomancy, it's patience. Whether you're not exuding patience with yourself or someone else, there's a need for patience in a particular situation here, Sag. I can't help but see, like, and these dots are kind of reminding me of like rolling the dice. It's a risk. It's a risk for you to wait, or you've felt like a wait has been a risk for you. This out-of-body experience could be in a multitude of areas or ways. It could be simply lucid dreaming, right? Being in a situation where you are outside of yourself, looking down on you, going, what the hell is going on in my world right now? You know, people talk about near-death experiences and having those out-of-body moments. But I honestly feel like for the majority of you, there's some kind of and I've been getting this, like, Spirit's calling it telepathic, but this error of communication for all of the signs in some way, like messages coming in, news being given, an awareness of something that's happening, whether it's a letter, a text, an email, conversations. But the way this comes in is it's news. It's news. And this out-of-body experience is like, it's showing you this intense depth to what life is about. This is the eye-opening experience that takes it to a whole new level, Sag. I think that, like, I'll say this. Like, my mom, I'll use my mom as the example if she's watching. Hi, Mom. My mom has always been very aware. I'm going to use her as the example of this, not so much the spiritual side, but the understanding that things like tarot exist, that it's a real thing, right? So the things that a lot of people question, that there's truth behind it, right? There's a reason these things come, or this, remember her saying, like, oh, I'd get a sickening feeling in the pit of my stomach and then something bad would happen, right? That's her intuition talking to her. Sag, you could, for some of you, not all of you, you could doubt the experiences that you've had. Maybe you can't rationalize the way an experience is, and it's requiring this aura, this observation from outside of the body, looking down at it and going, this is what you've kept yourself in. This is the egg. This is where you've hatched from, and this is what you're staying in. It's like you're playing it safe. I'm seeing that aura is like an egg, and you're the center yolk in that egg. That's like, you've got to open up yourself to the endless possibilities that anything can be real. And you're very much just cocooning or nesting or whatever you want to call it in that yolk. Like, you're the yolk, right? And this experience that's happening on the outside of your world is like something you don't see. Like, you could be open to little things, right? You could be open to the idea of tarot or Reiki or the spirit world, the ethereal world, whatever you want to label it as for you. But it's like, there's something about, if I step into that world, I have to see something I don't want to see. I have to acknowledge something that I don't want to acknowledge. And it doesn't have to be in the spiritual plane, right? This could be Maybe the way you've worked for 30 years and never wanting to see it as anything but just that way. Or your relationships, your partnerships, your family dynamics. Spirit's giving me the goosebumps the whole way down my legs. Or it's just about you. The way you've seen yourself. There could have been incoming communication, or could be incoming communication, Sag, that somebody brings something to you that knocks you off balance, that changes up this mastery of who you thought you were, or who you decided years ago you were going to be. Spirit is using the word judgmental. Either you're judging yourself, or you feel like others have judged you, or it's a mix of both, and now you're sitting on that side of, I've been judged for so long, now I'm going to judge somebody else. It's a very, very, what's the word? Sag, you're making me think today on a Sunday. Projection-like energy, for lack of better words. 11:11 on the clock. But it runs, this is running very deep. And this, you think about going out into the desert, right? It's dry. There's no water, there's no love, there's no fluid movement. It's just hot sand and the wind blowing, right? And for someone who's traveling that, like, I can't help, I'm such a mom, right? As compared to Disney movies. But you think about Aladdin at one point when he's walking in the desert. There's nothing around but a damn camel spitting. That's the only water to be had. It's almost like you've hung yourself out to dry. It's one thing to take the road less traveled to pave a new path for others, but it's another to take the road less traveled that's going to beat the hell out of you on the way. Sag, I kind of want to say to you with this patience, it's like you're running out of time to make changes. It's like you've done this same thing, this same way for so long. And for those of you who have heavily connected with your guides, you already know. You already know exactly what I'm talking about. Spirit's like, you know exactly what it is that I'm saying, what they're putting through me to come to you. For others of you, it's just a matter of not wanting to see it, closing your eyes and going, I don't care. Like, I've got control of myself. No. Most of you don't. And I'm not saying this to be mean, Sag. This Pluto and Aquarius energy, I feel like is pelting all of us to some degree. Like, where you were stuck in your way. And you don't have to be a fixed sign to be stuck in your way on how you move. You're just there. It's the way you know. It's the way you see. It's the way you perceive. And it's like, you see how his hands are, like, I can't help but, there's so much energy being drawn me into him. Hand is up, the other one is out, right? And it's like he's trying to feel for anything. He's letting his mind rest, eyes are closed, but he's trying to feel. And the thing about it is, Sag, you're not feeling anything but the grit. Oh no. Very, very interesting energy here, Sagittarius. Alright, let's dive in a little deeper. Augur. What is this augur about? I feel like you've become a slave to your own self. You've served yourself. You've served the ego self rather than the higher self. Okay, is what they're bringing to my attention with this aura card. And then you, again, like, what is outside the egg yolk, right? Like, once you peel back those layers, that eggshell, that hardened shell that you have protected yourself under for so long, it's like, come out and play. What lives on the other side of that tough, hard exterior that you have put yourself in as a form of protection? Why did you ever feel that you needed to protect yourself to begin with? I got the chills from head to toe, Sag. Like, your reading is coming in so intense for me. Go back. Spirit is asking you to go back to the point that you put yourself on lockdown. Spirit is saying the point that you started to abuse the body. At the point where you stopped loving you. At the point that you stopped trusting in you. The point that you felt like you got so hurt you couldn't turn back around to even try again. But yet you're out there kind of like intermingling in life, but never addressing the pain. Never addressing the hurt that has sat there for so long. Why? Let's see. This is Augur. Page of Pentacles. I've seen this card so many times. You're not able to give yourself to another person. Lover's card. So, this is going to sound so mean, and I know this, but please, please, please understand. I do this because I want to see people succeed. I want you to see, you know, these darker sides of our ego. Like, our ego can be our best friend and then our worst enemy. What are you going to do with it? And right now, it feels like you're using that ego as a space of protection, and it's hindering your ability to grow. It's stopping you from cracking that eggshell wide open and just expanding yourself. When you have that energy, there is such an innate fear that lives within us. It says, I am so compounded by this fear. I can't move. So I'm just going to do the only thing I know how to do, and that is be the person that I've always been and never choose to evolve. You guys are really dealing with some crazy soulmate energy, because I feel like as you are working on this, what you feel is self-mastery, holding yourself in check, or what feels like, or what you think is your in check moment, you've got somebody that is kind of mirroring you and pulling back, because they're recognizing how much you're not giving of yourself. They see that. This soulmate, this twin flame, this whatever, sees how that's happening with you. And then, you know, I don't feel like you're necessarily projecting on this specific person, but they sense your energy, right? It's like the snake. Those sensors are going. They know. They feel the fear. They feel and understand why. They sense why you are in the space that you are in. And I feel like they're trying to give you this room, this patience to see, and Spirit said, and to seek higher guidance. But they have no control, and they're not trying to control what you do. It's a very, very interesting energy here, Sag. What else for Sagittarius? Yeah. I just keep hearing, come out and play, come out and play, come out and play. Sag, how much playing can you do? And I said about mind games, right? You've got the Two of Pentacles, the Nine of Swords with this Page of Pentacles. There's just extreme confusion. Juggling both ends of this spectrum. It's like you're picking and choosing what you want to see through when it comes to other people. This is judgment at its finest to me, the way Seven of Swords. Sag, like this feeling that I get is just so intensely, whether you want to call it your beliefs, your constructs, your foundations, the pillars within you that you have built and become aware of since childhood, that say this is what I stand for. There's something here. I feel it in my gut and I feel it in my chest right now, that is challenging everything you thought you knew. This challenging energy could be coming from somebody else, but I feel like this is pressure, right? You think about the egg, that baby bird that's in that egg, or whatever animal is in that egg. There's pressure. They're running out of room in that egg. The time, the patience of a situation is almost up. It's going to erupt. It has to. At some point, there's no more room inside that shell to grow and develop. And you're at that point where you've outgrown that space that you need to expand. Doesn't live within inside the world that you're living in right now. Eggshell's about to crack. And it's like, I feel like there is a part of you that knows that this Spirit's calling it exposure to sunlight or life or whatever. It's coming. And I think that's where this patience is coming in and going, time's up. It's almost done. And there's this massive worry that I have to face every fear, everything that's kept me up at night, all the people that I've put at bay, all the pain that I have swallowed and regurgitated left, right, and sideways. There's an aha moment that's boiling at the surface, and you are trying to control how this plays out. Sag, understand, the only control you have is no control at all with this situation, because regardless, Spirit is pushing you forward, whether you want it to or not. And it's like they've brought somebody in, they're addressing the Two of Pentacles to start to show you, this could be by way of your kids, a friend, anything. But there's some soulmate tie here with that Lover's card to bring this to your awareness, like probably a couple years ago, 2 years ago. And it's kind of like you've had that time to kind of take it in, soak it in, sit with it, decide what you want to do with it. And now it's like Spirit gave you, it's like they gave you that time frame to examine the potential possibilities of what was outside of this eggshell that you were slowly growing out of. And if you didn't make a move, this reading is for you. If you kind of put yourself on pause and just kind of went through the motions of everyday life, seeing it from one side and then maybe interacting with something else on the other side that reserved you, it's like you were reserved from, you weren't fully open to it. It was kind of like you were presenting a false sense of self to somebody or to other people in general, that maybe you felt like Queen of Pentacles, like you had it all together, you had it all figured out. Maybe the portrayal that money was good, life was good, call it a mask, call it a facade. I talked about that Judgment, right? You probably just heard the card hit the table. There it is. This is divine choice. This is karma. This is balance. This is the consequences of our decisions. It is a decision being made outside of yourself to make you release what is not for you anymore. And she's kind of like, I feel like she's kind of bargaining in that moment, going, God, free me up. Like, I want to be lifted. I want to be let loose. I want to feel free. But then there's the two worlds, right? The spirit realm, the ethereal realm, and then this earthly realm. There's freedom on the other side of this. You can still be in this physical existence and make nice with the soul level stuff. I think a lot of people get caught up in that, right? Like, we're so caught in the tangible world, right? That it's hard to imagine a world where we can see both sides of the fence, right? What's within and what's without. But I feel like that's where you're having a hard time figuring out how you can be in both worlds, that out-of-body experience. What is it like to be on the other side and looking down at yourself and going, oh my God, did I really do that? Oh my, could I do better? Is that really what I look like? Is that really what I sound like? Pay attention to your dreams right now too, with that Nine of Swords and that Judgment. subconscious stuff coming up to the surface. Spirit said a delay of your actions is what's causing this change to occur. Again, I just said, right, they've kind of probably given you the last 2 years to see different sides of situations, and you're still kind of hanging on to the way you've always done it, Sag. There's a lot of pressure on the situation for you, and it's like anytime somebody offers you compassion or love, you might give 25% back. And I don't think that it's coming from a place of selfishness or righteousness or meaning to do harm. Like, it's not, I don't feel like there's any ill intention. You guys have good hearts about you. You truly do. But it's the fear of abandonment, neglect, being left without, being judged, being criticized, being ridiculed because you are the way you are. Spirit saying too big, too small, too right, too wrong, too this, too that. But I think the crazy thing here is, Sag, you're judging yourself more than anybody else could judge you. Knight of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles. Underneath the patience. Hanging on. And I just got done saying, you're going to be pushed through this. And that Knight of Pentacles is slow, right? That's slow moving energy. And I'm going to reiterate, Spirit's given you the opportunity and the time. It's like kind of like playing Yahtzee. Keep trying. Eventually you're going to get all 5 numbers, right? Or all 5 of one number. Or you can just kind of hold the dice and just not even take a turn. Why risk it? Like, it's not probably the best analogy here, but an analogy nonetheless. But you holding on. 1 and 4 is 5. The Knight of Pentacles. Spirit goes 11. I don't know what that 11 thing is. Like, I see these knights in the pages and they're going 11, and I'm like, why? But okay. 11 and 1. So 111 could be very important to you at this time. You could be seeing 1s and 4s in general. But again, they've given you the time to make this journey on your own. Whether or not you've done it, you know if you have or not. You know if you've reserved. You know if you've held yourself back. I also want to say to you, they keep going risk and gamble. Watch, maybe some of you have issues with gambling. I don't have the devil card here, but it doesn't mean it's not, right? But I also see this as a 5 of Pentacles, which is loss. Being left out, neglected, left outside of that church on the original Rider-Waite, right? But this is a cultivation. That Ace of Pentacles, it's a cultivation of dealing with the dirty work. It's a cultivation of understanding why you got to this place to begin with so that you can work your way through it. It's like when you go out to garden, like I can't help but see these hands as like, planting an onion or digging in the dirt, right? It's earthly energy. Go out there, dig your hole with your hands, get your hands in the dirt, plant your onion bulbs or whatever it is you're doing, right? You had to get dirty. You had to get into the work. You had to dig deep to plant a seed. And that's what Spirit's asking you to do. And again, if you don't do the work to plant those seeds, they're going to push you to have to do it. You're not going to have another option. It's where Tower moments are born from right there, okay? What is this judgment about? 9 of Pentacles. I heard Spirit say you're afraid someone's going to leave you. Sag, if the only reason you're making changes is because somebody else, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. What does your heart know to be true for you? Because it's like, yeah, I mean, we can change. Like, I'd say, at one point in my life, like I was so tired and I was so done. And me and God had a very serious come to Jesus moment. I was ready to throw in the towel. And my kiddo's picture popped up as a memory. And I looked at that and thought to myself, there is no way that I'm going to do this any other way than for her. And in that made me move forward. But then I also had to find the conviction in myself to do it for myself, not just for her. What did I need out of that? 30-30 on the clock. And that's what Spirit's asking you to do, is you cannot tie this up to somebody else. This is about you. Okay? I'm going to have to end this. My phone has been crazy today. Alright, advice. Advice for Sag. Advice for Sag. Split the deck. Not enough. Lacking self-confidence. Watching, looking, perception. Like, you got to get out of the idea of it's about somebody else. It's about you. And it's like, if I look at somebody else as the reason I'm doing this, then I'll find the motivation. You got to find the motivation. Look at this. Here comes a clock again. There it is. I'm telling you, Sag, whatever you've got going on, whatever you're not investing into, whether it's you or whatever this is, look at that. Old school, outdated ways of thinking. This is coming to an end, and it's going to force you to heal. It's going to force you to move on, whether you want to or not. Cut down separation. You've got separation here easily 4 times over. It's coming. And it's all to heal your inner child and to release the past. It is the metamorphosis. All right, Sag, hopefully, I'm going to leave it here before my phone cuts off. Hopefully this helped you. If it resonated, like, share, subscribe, comment. That is your lesson for today. I wish you guys the very best. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.